Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
Vis-a-vis Corona, the sellers that kept their head in the ground like an ostrich in the beginning of Corona have now popped their heads out and taken a deep breath and are refocused on selling their deals now. Virtually every place that you kids are doing deals, so it's exactly the same. It's a little more difficult in Germany for a lot of different reasons. No, actually one reason. His name was Adolf Hitler, but anyway. And they're all afraid to take too much risk with anybody that's got any leadership skills whatsoever. Questions about Thomas or the process? Yes, sir, in the back.
Question about forming your corporation after or during your first deal. Is that...
It's simultaneous with your first deal.
Right. Is that the holding company, or is that...
Okay, well, thank you. The short answer is yes. But the first deal you're going to do is going to be that deal. So are you going to take the shares or the ownership in that first deal in what entity is what you're talking about? When you're going to share the ownership vis-a-vis share participation with other directors, it's got to be some sort of company. You called it a holding company. It may or may not be a holding company, but for lack of a better terminology, it's a holding company. But in America, it could be an LLC, limited liability partnership, S Corp, C Corp, all kinds of different. In this country, it could be a PLC, limited company. In Germany and in the Netherlands and other places like that, it could be a GmbH or a partnership. But don't worry about the structure. You're worrying about shit that doesn't matter. Yeah.
What was the reason why didn't he sold bigger companies?
Why didn't he what?
Go for the bigger companies. 5 million revenue.
Because he pays attention. I say the first one, $1 million, $1.5 million. The second one, because it's a learning process and you're going to fuck up. Your first 5 deals should amount to about $8 to $10 million in revenue, cumulatively. Or, like the guy that just, 2.4 billion, 2.5 years. Wife left him, kids left him, parents won't talk to him. That's what you should do. Try that one out. That's what I did, but you're not me. Yeah, I mean, you heard Simon the Bell. Simon forgot more about sales than anybody in this fucking room other than me. So, I'm telling you the way to get across the goal line, the quickest possible way, if you follow the steps. If you don't follow the steps, you just fall down and you'd be like Forrest Gump running the wrong way in the football field. And as simple as it sounds, life happens and you will blame life for not following the steps. But if you follow the steps, so far, and even the Viking bitch says, when I fucked up, it was because I didn't follow the steps. Gerard says, when I fucked up, I didn't follow the steps. Thomas only didn't follow the step one time. He didn't call it a fuck up. Margot said, when I fucked up, I didn't follow the steps. Every fucking one of them. Yet you're still not going to follow the motherfucking steps. Because you don't want to be rich. This is a fucking pretend joke. Because if you follow them, you will be rich. And I already know the ones that aren't going to follow them first. Yeah, fuck you and the horse you rode in. Don't leave me that shit. You're not talking to this other moron over here. You're talking to me. What else about Thomas. Now, interestingly, he says, my wife's pregnant. I say, my wife's pregnant. The new kids say, we're pregnant. Fuck you if you're pregnant. I'll give you both an abortion. There are certain places in the world where men still have balls. When you say we're pregnant in Russia, they spit on you. We're pregnant, my ass. Okay, what else about they all, I don't have 1,000 like this, but I got a bunch of them. I spiced it up by putting people that are actually in the coronas, because you'll say that they didn't do it in corona, but like he said, it's pretty much exactly the same. The one thing he didn't say that was obvious in the other presentations, the corona era presentations, is a little more output it takes. But you can get meetings done faster now. And now instead of, they say, when can we meet? Or when can we talk? And boy, for anybody that's ever sold anything, you can't imagine how the benefit is on our side now. When can we talk? And then he went to the one to do the due diligence or to sign the paperwork with the seller, because he sensed that the seller, it's his baby, and you're right, it's his baby or their baby, whoever it was that he went to see. And, they want the ownership to be more than a fax machine signed piece of paper that comes to you after, 10 or 15 years of, sweating and toiling, to build up the business. Now, I never had that affinity with a business that it was like my child. Some people say I did for Great Western many decades ago. Maybe I did. I don't remember. That's a long time ago. And what else about, anything else about Andreas? Okay, so you understand the system, okay? We're going to go back to the board, and we're going to go back to the chairman. And remember, there's nothing to talk about. As Andreas said in his first webinar, not this one, he was so happy that somebody returned his call and said, let's talk. And then he wasted a bunch of time because they weren't a motivated seller. I said off camera earlier or yesterday that there was a lot of tire kickers, looky-loos as they used to call them in America, that will contact you or respond to your initial outreach because they want to get a feel for what their business is worth. You got to learn how to differentiate that quickly, otherwise you're going to waste a lot of time. Some people just want to have some sort of valuation. So they know, well, how much insurance should I get? And they're doing some estate planning, etc. Those aren't our market. Those aren't our market. And I said again when we first met here before we got on camera that it's all right to ask them if they're ill. I really want this to go through. I mean, it's embarrassing, but do you have a will? Or are you going to pass intestate? Intestate means without a will. And they'll answer you. And if they don't have a goddamn will, you got two choices. You run like a thief in the night because the will that they're going to perform or put down on paper may or may not get through vis-a-vis if there is some sort of dispute in their estate, and the court decides that it was done in contemplation of death. All wills are in contemplation of death. So I never understood why the judges would say that. But there's a tricky in contemplation of death as opposed to just in contemplation of death. And but you can buy assets from very, very sick people. There's nothing illegal or wrong about it. It's just that you got to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Okay, so there's nothing about Thomas. Now, we're going to talk about goals this afternoon and affirmations. But from the chairman through the seller, all the steps we've gone through. Does anybody have any question or need any additional clarification of who's on first, who shot John, or what you do or what you don't do? How did I know you were going to raise your hand? Okay. Better than the meatball next year. Go ahead.
CEO salary.
See who?
The CEO's salary?
CEO's salary.
Yeah, his salary.
Whose salary?
The CEO's.
CEO, it depends on the size of the business. I told you there's charts produced by American Association of Small Business Owners, University of Michigan, that says if you've got a business from 1 to 5 million, your salary is between 75 and 125. If your business is from 5 million to 10 million, your salary is some derivative of that. If you've got a business that's 50 million, it's between 250 and 750. I mean, which you're not going to get paid because you're not going to be CEO.
Right. But the question really is...
No, that's not why you asked it. You didn't ask me the right, but you were just, living vicariously.
That's not what I was asking.
Okay.
But what I was asking is, I don't have the money to pay him now.
Well, you're not going to pay income to these guys until the fucking business cash flows. How many fucking times do I have to say this? You're not hiring anybody to do anything that you're going to pay them money for, like a salary, because you don't have any fucking money. And even the guys in the room that have money, you're not going to use your money to pay them a fucking salary. When the business cash flows, and if you put the business in the toilet, like some of you will, because you don't believe that the management part's hard, you're going to pay them nothing, and you're going to wind up fucking them, because you lied to them, because no money's going to go their way, because you fucked the whole goddamn transaction up. They're getting paid nothing. What you're really asking is, that means you can't take any money out, you fucking bums. There's no money in it. Zero. Fuck, how many times do I have to say this? Even the fucking imbeciles on YouTube know this, I think. Maybe they don't. You only can pay money when the business makes money. That's why we don't buy turnarounds. That's why we don't buy things that are losing money. If the cash flow of the existing business with the empty beds and the dead bodies doesn't cover fucking debt service, we don't buy it. Under any circumstances. And when you tell the banks, I'll never bring a deal that doesn't stack up, where cash flow is way in excess of any perceived debt service, they will fucking love you. They will write that down. But then you got to perform. Just telling them that bullshit and then bringing them one of your chicken shit deals, Most people that come through this seminar, the reason they've had poor results vis-a-vis doing deals is because they wouldn't know a deal if it bit them in the ass. The big boys only buy businesses where the debt service can be covered by the cash flow from the assets you're fucking buying. Period. They don't, that's fine. There are turnaround guys. There are bottom fishing turnaround guys. Fine, but that's not you. Now, I'm not saying that won't be 10 years from now after you, sharpen your tools and your skill sets, but not now. I mean, you couldn't turn around a two-man push cart selling fucking hot dogs on fucking 55th and Madison. Yeah, yes, sir.
Is there a minimum cash flow annually to pay the debt off? Is there
No, it depends on it. If you buy something for $1, obviously you don't need much cash flow, right? If you buy something for $1 million, depending on the structure of the deal, will depend on whether you can, cover debt service. the key is seller finance. Now, we have kids, I'm not recommending you do this. We have kids that will only do seller finance deals. Only. 100%. Because they know they can get those done. Does everybody understand that? If you're not giving the fucking moron seller any money, you don't need any money. More importantly, you don't need the bank. The banks are the people that slow the deals down and or kill the deal. Without the banks, I mean, you heard Adeli say, without, I wish I could just do seller finance, all the deals. But at some point in time, because you're broke, not all of you, but at some point in time, you've got to do a deal that's not seller finance because you've got to, you're drowning. You got one nostril above the waterline and you got to get some fucking money. I understand that. But I told you yesterday, your directors will understand no money a lot better than you. They've got pensions, savings for you. They're not as worried. Even your professionals will understand no money out of the deal up until some point, and then they want to get paid. And right now, they're knocking on doors and making phone calls to make sure that the deals that are on delayed fee basis, that they've done successful deals, get paid before the year end, so they can get paid bonuses. But I told you the banker lawyer I know, it's going to be a lean year for bankers, meaning the bonuses are going to be down dramatically, which means that they're not going to be able to buy as presents and blah, 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 blah. So it'll be interesting to see the stat. One of the stats you always see after Christmas, how bad Christmas was this, how much e-commerce came into, buying stuff on the high street, how much money was spent vis-a-vis last year. I predict that it's going to be a lean year. Retail is a tough business anyway because retail, up to 60% of the money is made over the holidays. And if there's no money to pay over the holidays, I mean, it's going to be a lot of lean stockings. They still hang stockings for kids? Yeah. It's going to be empty stockings. Empty stockings. Sally puts, I have a big fucking stocking. Sally puts all kind of shit, cash and keys to cars and shit like that. Okay. Do you understand? Well, good. You lied to me. You said absolutely. That's good. Now I'm not gonna delve there anymore. I'm not gonna add. Okay. Are there any other questions about we're going to talk again, but I want to between the chairman and the motivated seller. Now, when you count all that up, depending, you're making about 20 to 30 presentations where somebody has to say yes to. So by the time you get down to the seller, you're used to hearing yes. Your subconscious is used to saying yes. And now, because of Corona, the sellers are more motivated because the smarter sellers are thinking, what if there's a second, third, or fourth wave? I better sell while the opportunity is good now. Because my business is only going to be worth less if there's a third and fourth wave, which is absolutely true. Now, some of the kids, I don't do this. I don't like the negative sell. I know you're hesitating, but have you thought what's going to be happening to your business if there's a third, fourth, or fifth wave? Now, see, I think that's chicken shit myself. There are some limits that I will not cross, and that's low-life selling. That's a used car salesman fucking, sell. But it's true. If there is a third, fourth, or fifth wave, these businesses are worth nothing. Fuck all. Fuck all. And, but these guys watch the 6 o'clock night news more than you, and they realize how bad it is. In this country, I think we're up to 100,000, 100 per 100,000 COVID in the UK, which doesn't sound like a lot to me, but it's over the one, or whatever the numbers they keep track of. And they've told the college kids to stay at the university, don't go home for the holidays. Which, believe me, some of the students would be great, as long as they give me some money to spend, I'll fucking burn the school down like I used to, that kind of shit. But, I mean, I can't begin to tell you how it's our game. And unless one of the guys that I poke fun at all of a sudden pops up, QLA 2 or some shit, you got no competition. Zero. Okay, so there's no questions about that. Come on, dirtbag, you got to have a question. He looks like a guy in Wall Street, one of the slimeball brokers in the back that's stealing from a old lady's pension fund. Yeah. What are you going to roll up? Steal. You and Andrew Carnegie. Okay, I can't help but smile, but you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Well, you're about this Andrew Carnegie was about 4'8". You're about the same height. What are you laughing about, Punjab? You got nothing to be happy about. Okay. YouTube, goodbye.